Welcome back to the quiet corner of the internet we call Whispers of Turkish Stars. In a world buzzing with speculation and echo chambers, this channel is our refuge for slower breaths and deeper looks, especially into the hearts that beat under spotlights and camera rigs. Today, we turn toward a story that didn't stay confined to the set, it seeped into real life, found a pulse of its own, and made an entire fandom lean closer to the screen. We're talking about the magnetic, unmistakable pull between Alp Navruz and Alina, two names that, once placed side by side, seem to alter the atmosphere. Before we open the door to a confession that shifted the narrative, make your space in this community permanent. Tap subscribe so you're part of every thoughtful unraveling, ring the bell so you're the first to feel the tremor of our next reveal, and, if you believe in storytelling that treats people like people, consider pressing join. Your support empowers us to go beyond noise and chase nuance. Settle in now, as we listen for the quiet thunder of Alp's truth. This saga didn't begin with a scandal, a rumor, or a staged photo. It started with that rare alignment in casting where professionalism looks suspiciously like fate. When Alp Navruz and Alina met within the fast-spinning world of a major production, few could predict how their pairing would alter the temperature of the room. Viewers who came for plot found themselves spellbound by a friction and harmony that felt too organic to be manufactured. On screen, as the beloved characters Serkan and Ida, they weren't just delivering lines, they were animating a shared pulse. Their rhythm, snappy exchanges, glances loaded with history, sparks in conflict, and reconciliations that felt like a collective deep breath for the audience, transcended performance. Fans didn't merely enjoy, they surrendered. People began to ask the question that always arrives when chemistry feels this lived in: were we witnessing a beautiful illusion, or the glow of something real flickering through the seams? Social media, true to its obsessiveness, behaved as if the answer was obvious. The internet flooded with edits that stitched scenes, behind-the-scenes snippets dissected frame by frame, and long threads of theories that connected dots with forensic intensity. Alp and Alina turned into a binary star. A gravitational partnership in the Turkish entertainment sky. That kind of attention is generous, but it also has sharp edges. It multiplies love, and it erodes privacy. In the face of it, their initial strategy was discipline. They moved through interviews like architects of silence, generous, gracious, careful. Praise for each other's craft? Absolutely. Gratitude for the audience's passion? Of course. A knowing smile that said everything and nothing at once? Always. If the plan was to cool public curiosity, it backfired with a flourish. The fewer answers they gave, the more feverish the guessing became. Paparazzi sharpened their lenses and followed patterns like detectives trailing stars across a dark sky. From coffee shop doorways to studio gates, from event arrival times to suspiciously aligned off days, everything turned into evidence. Entertainment sites deconstructed their body language. A shared glance was a headline, a parallel caption on Instagram became a declaration, a coincidental presence in the same city felt like confirmation. A single frame posted without context sparked comment section symphonies. And then something shifted, something so understated it was louder than any red carpet spectacle. It didn't happen under staging lights or scripted panels, and it wasn't introduced by a publicist. The change arrived in whispers at first. Word spread that Alp had stopped sidestepping the topic. In a style so characteristic of him, measured, thoughtful, he seemed to drop the careful choreography and speak directly. But what counts as a confession for a man whose privacy is almost a craft? Is it a tidy phrase stamped onto a headline? Or is it something more potent because it refuses theatrics and favors sincerity? To understand this, remember the environment where their connection bloomed. Long hours at insane o'clock, the discipline of repeating tenderness until it blurs with the real thing, the way two people become each other's mirror, partner, and refuge when they carry a show together. Serkan and Ida were adored by millions. With that adoration comes pressure. It crushes some, but for others it forges an alloy stronger, steadier, shared. When you hold up a series like that, you inevitably lean. You laugh together when exhaustion makes everything absurd. You celebrate wins in small, private ways. You learn the rhythm of the other person's presence, what their silence sounds like, when their patience thins, how their focus sharpens. This is where professional respect migrates, quietly, into something warmer and more resilient. Alp and Alina seemed to understand the delicacy of that shift long before the public did. They moved with intention, not speed. They ignored the digital countdowns demanding a label and grew at their own pace, even as public attention tried to accelerate everything. And now, whispers of Turkish Star's family, I want to hold a mirror up to us. We ask performers for their best illusions, then sometimes demand proof that the illusions are real. How much access do we think we deserve because we felt something in a scene? Have you ever shipped a couple so intensely that you forgot there were actual people on the other side of your wish? Share your thoughts in the comments, with generosity for them and for each other. If this approach resonates with you, press like so the algorithm lifts conversations that value empathy. For a while, the pair avoided public moments that could be read like a cipher. Then, almost imperceptibly, the guardrails widened. A shared photo surfaced. Not obligatory, not glossy, just the feel of a real memory. A subtle show of support emerged during a difficult week, visible if you knew what to look for, invisible if you didn't. They stood together on a night when cameras weren't expected, and when cameras did appear, they didn't bolt in opposite directions. Fans watched this like a slow-burn storyline, patient, steady, and inevitable. It brought us to the core, the confession that still hums through the fandom. There are clips, fragments, and interviews where Alp's posture changes. He stops speaking in abstractions. He stops hiding behind safe, PR-approved language. He doesn't just praise a talented co-star, he talks about Alina, the person, not the role. This isn't fluff designed to push ratings. It is the cadence of respect that comes from somewhere marrow deep. He speaks about her fine-tuned empathy, her relentless work ethic, the way she can ground a scene just by being present, and the quiet, consistent kindness she offers without demanding applause. You can hear the shift in his voice. And when someone says her name, the smile that escapes him is not the polished curve taught in media training. It is involuntary, the kind that shows up before you remember there's a lens nearby. For an audience that has trained itself to read micro-expressions, that was a siren. Picture the classic moment, a studio, warm lights, an interviewer easing toward the question everyone asks but few answer. For once, Alp doesn't pivot. He inhales, measures the sentence, and lets something true land. He doesn't deliver a scripted I love you for easy headlines. Instead, he says, plainly, that Alina is important to him in a way that exceeds the job. He calls her his stabilizer on chaotic days. He admits she's the call he makes when the world's noise needs sorting, that working with her sharpens his craft and, more dangerously honest, steadies his spirit. He names her strength without softening it, enjoys her razor-bright humor, and relies on the calm she brings into rooms electrified by expectation. He tells the truth, not a fairy tale. And sometimes, the simple truth resounds louder than any rooftop proclamation. With that, the phrase "the truth about Alina Boz" transformed. It wasn't a tabloid twist. It was the portrait he offered when he spoke of her, a woman of quick intelligence and deep generosity, tethered to reality, warm by choice rather than habit, fiercely private where it counts, and stubbornly brave about her boundaries in a career that often asks for everything. He sees it. He honors it. Saying it out loud became a tiny window he opened for us, a carefully chosen intimacy shared with grace. The reaction was immediate. Timelines lit up. Fans, feeling vindicated, stitched together every moment like evidence in a beautiful case file, interview clips paired with old behind-the-scenes giggles, quiet glances set to music, montages where the best of Serkin and Ida overlapped with new glimpses of Alp and Alina, the line between fiction and reality, to many eyes, finally blurred for good. Of course, the internet is never one voice. Skeptics raised hands. Some muttered that this was orchestrated timing. Others insisted that if it were real, it should either be fully public or completely private, as if intimacy owed anyone a performance. What silenced many of those doubts wasn't a dramatic reveal, it was how Alp and Alina continued moving. No clickbait. No monetized confessional. No coy drip of breadcrumbs engineered for numbers. They let the noise whirl around them while tending to something that didn't need the crowd's oxygen. And yet, they allowed just enough daylight for the rest of us to understand that we weren't looking at a publicity engine. We were witnessing a choice adult, mutual, measured. So here we are, at the end of tonight's deep look. Our title wasn't a trick, it was a promise kept. Alp Navras did open a window into what he feels, and what came through that opening wasn't scandal, it was substance. The truth about Alina, as he chooses to say it, is tinted with fondness and anchored in respect. The story that emerges is stubbornly wholesome, two artists who took a screen partnership adored by millions and carefully nourished its echo in real life, without turning their bond into a product. Thank you for walking every beat of this with us on Whispers of Turkish Stars. If Alp's quiet candor moved you, pass this along so the conversation travels further than the rumor mill. Do subscribe, tap like, and, if you value work that prizes dignity over drama, hit join to keep these explorations alive. Until we meet again, may your own truths be spoken softly, but without apology.